Hey, how are you? What's up, Alan? You're the first one on tonight. I'm on super early, though. What are you whining about? There's Chris. You feel lucky? What? Where are you at, Alan? Hey, Janny. How you doing, Chris? Oh, nice. I was actually just talking to my son today about heading up to Eugene because I'm in California and I want to take a trip up to Eugene. Hi. Lay down. Hey, Donna. You guys are funny. As soon as you see that invite, man, you guys are on it. Of course, for you, it's what, 8 o'clock? For Alan and I, it's only like 6. Hey, Leo. Hey, Mark. How you doing? Ricky, you're back. Haven't seen you the last few. You just walk. Who needs an invite, right? You just walk on in. Kick that door right open. I get the feeling that might be exactly what this wedding reception is going to be like. People just going to start kicking doors down. It's coming together, though. Hey, Johnny. You're back again. Guys, nope. We're not doing that. I don't care if the crows are barking. I don't care if the crows are squawking. The ravens are outside just making all kinds of noises because one of them dropped a dead squirrel in the pasture, and now they're both fighting over this dead squirrel. And of course, the dogs wanted to go check out the dead squirrel. It's not even like a squirrel anymore. It's just like skin and a little bit of fur and maybe a bone here and there. So now I got to go out with a shovel or some gloves and pick it up and get rid of it. Hey, Ryan. Hi, Courtney. Hey, Tracy. You guys, I wasn't supposed to have a message tonight, and we got one anyway. Iffy, I saw you sneak in. You're in early tonight. If you guys hear noises, I'm getting text messages about the wedding. I think I turned it all down. Hey, Maria. It's still one of my favorite names ever. Oh, here you come. I knew you had to come in here. We might have an extra one tonight. So we've got Todd and Loki normal. We might have his mom if she decides to sneak out of the bathroom. Yeah. Well, I had another boy cat outside with her, but he went missing about 5 days ago. So I don't want to leave her outside by herself. So she's been in the house the last couple of days, and she is not happy about being in the house. She likes being an outdoor cat, and so she wants to stay an outdoor cat, but I don't. If something grabbed a hold of him, I don't want something to grab a hold of her. I've had her too long. So she is now in the house and until I can get a couple more strays for outside, some ferals. Hi. So I got to look into getting a couple more ferals. Because I'm all about giving the ferals a home where they wouldn't normally have a home. I have no problems with feeding them. Hi, Bo. Are you done? No? Hey, Gracie. Are you gonna just lay still tonight? I don't think you are. Could we stop? Apparently we cannot stop. He hasn't cared the whole time I've been home. Now he cares. Hi, Tata. You're standing on my hair. You're being a goof. He doesn't realize he's on camera. He either knows he's on camera or he doesn't know he's on camera. Because normally he's so afraid of people, he wouldn't let anybody see him. That's why I don't think he knows. You know people can see you, right? Hey. Hey. You know people can see you, right? Other people besides me? Sully, we don't need to bark. And you don't need to rub on my drink. Hey, Jan. Stop. Stop. Please. Please stop. This is why I don't bother to wear lip gloss. You know that whole thing going on TikTok when you have boy cats? Definitely a boy cat thing. I mean, that is why I like boy cats, is they're a lot more cuddly than a female. But his mom is like this too. His mom loves attention. Just lay down, buddy. About 10 minutes, I'll pray us in and we'll get started. We got a lot tonight. It's actually really, really good tonight. It wasn't even supposed to be a message. It was supposed to be just us chatting, and oh boy. We hit all the bases tonight. Ow. You know you weigh like 20 pounds when you hit me, right? See Sully's bottom. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe. Maybe. The tail. That tail. I gotta color my hair this week, you guys. Can we just settle? That would be great. Shin guards? Or cats? Hey, Scotty. It's been forever since you were on here. Like forever and a day. Oh, yeah. I mean, fair. Now my nose itches from cat hair. Why do I have cats if I'm allergic to them? Because I'm a glutton for punishment, that's why. So what's new with everybody this week so far? Oh, Chris, I had somebody asking about Mission, Texas? Is it Mission, Texas? Is that what the name of it is? I think. Does that sound right? Is it a nice place? She doesn't want too hot. I mean, all of Texas is hot, but she definitely doesn't want hurricanes. You got to remember, she's coming from up here in the mountains. Like a little suburb. Hey, Kathy. How's Cheryl? Have you heard anything? Okay. But we haven't heard from her today either, which means she's not back on the phone yet. Another Alan? We got 2 Allens. Gotcha. I just had 2 Jans come on at the back to back. Yes, ma'am, it is. It wasn't supposed to be, but it is. Jeanette, and you even spelled it right. Hey, Matt. Let's not. Let's not. Hey. Let's not, buddy. Get a Great Pyrenees, they said. Yeah, that would be you. You big monster. Hey, Rick. And here we go again with the rubbing. What is it with you tonight? Could you just lay down? Marky Mark. And the Funky Bunch. Boy, I'm aging myself. Hi. Hello. Can we lay down and not stand on my hair? Right? I have my Todd stole. No, Sully. Go lay down, please. You're gonna knock the camera over and then I'm gonna get upset. Please go lay down. Oh, okay. Right. Hurricane Sully's coming through. Not yet. Hey, go lay down. Go lay down, please. You have a big old bed over there. You have the whole wall over there, and you have a carpet over there. But you want right here in my lap. Why are you licking my foot? There's Brett. Hey, Brett, how's it going? Anything new? Hey, Whit. No. Hey, Venus. Uh-huh. Nothing new? You don't have anything new to tell me at all? That's boring. Was all the fun stuff the other night that you told me? Nothing new since then? Ow. There we go. Nothing changed or nothing new. There's a difference. Hey, David. How you doing? Where at, Iffy? What kind of conference? Like men's conference or just entire church conference? I love conferences. Like you never fail to walk away. Sully. You never fail to walk away like inspired. As long as you go with the right frame of mind. Sully, stop. Or I'm going to put you outside. Lay down. I need to start locking him out. I need to start doing it in the... Hey, Tiff. I need to start doing these in the office again because I can lock him out when he starts barking. Not that it helps because he's so loud. Good boy. All right, I'm going to pray us in. I've been good. Alexa, pause. Okay. I'm going to pray us in, you guys, and then we're going to get started. Manny will be in when he gets in, I'm sure. But he should be in anytime. I think everybody else is already in here except for him and Ron. But, you know. Oh, speaking of Manny, there you go. I knew he'd be in. I told you. I didn't see him sneak in. And then I think Ron's the only one not in. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pray us in. Todd's back. So now we can get started because Todd's back. All right, Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time tonight. Lord, we just pray that your Holy Spirit will fall on us. Lord, we pray that the message that you have for us tonight, that you will pour it out. Let me just be the speaker. Let me just be a tool, a vessel, just a part of the way that you get your message across. And Lord, I pray that each one takes it as you need them to hear it in their life right now. Lord, I know that you are moving. I feel you. I feel your spirit. And so I know that you will cover this with your Holy Spirit, protect each one of us, keep those out who don't belong in here. And Father, those who do come in, I pray that they are shown clearly and right from the very beginning. Father, I just pray that in this coming week, you continue to pour yourself out in ways that are so clearly you and so clearly seen that there is no mistaking what it is that you want from us, that we hear you loud and clear. And Lord, that we do not need confirmations because we are seeing them over and over and over again. And we know that we are hearing from you. And I pray these things because your Son has taught us how to pray, because you are our Father. And Lord, I give you all the glory in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. All right. So typically we would just have a normal conversation tonight, just kind of chit chat, what's going on, things like that. But all of a sudden, the other night, about a week and a half ago, the Lord kept telling me, I'm setting a table. I'm setting a table. Do you not see that I'm setting a table? And I'm like, yeah, Lord, I know you're setting a table. And he's like, no, I'm setting a table in the presence of your enemies. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden it started going through other things. And I'm like, okay, well, that's Psalm 23. And, you know, about a year ago this time, he had told me to start praying Psalm 23 over myself, over my life, over my days. Just continually pray Psalm 23, Psalm 23, Psalm 23. So I started doing that. And then I stopped. And he brought it back to me again that I need to start praying Psalm 23. And so I looked up Psalm 23, and I'm going to do it in the ESV, you guys. I read this psalm in every single version I could possibly think of. It is literally 6 verses. Yet there is so much to unpack in this 6 verses, and we're going to get into it tonight. And why he wants us to go through this, I don't know. But I do know that he wants to use this as a blueprint for what we're going through, for what many, many, many of us are going through or are about to go through or are coming right out of. Like, we've been through this. So we're going to get into that a little bit more clearly. I don't know if Tim and Jennifer are on. Was that Jennifer I just saw pop in? Psalm 23:1. I'm in the ESV. You guys can, Ron McDaniel. Got it, Jerry. You guys can follow along in whatever version you have. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Hey, Jody. So we hear Psalm 23 a lot. Like, we know this. It's played, it's done at funerals, pretty much on every cross stitch you could imagine. We've seen Psalm 23. Most of us know Psalm 23, at least parts of it, even if it's just the first verse. But do we really see it as applying to us on a daily basis? Because I'm telling you right now, as I started going through this with him, I realized a lot of us, we're going to get into it, but a lot of us don't see it applying to us on a daily basis. We see it in a big general sense, but not on a day by day, every single day basis. I'm going to bet that you're one of two people. And this is out of experience for what God has done in this live over the last 2 years. You are either going through relationship issues right now, like you're fighting with your significant other or your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, fiance, whatever it is, husband, wife. You're either fighting, it's falling apart, you're wondering if your relationship is going to be able to withstand this storm. Someone's cheating, there's a sudden separation, there's talk of divorce. You're reaching out to God in desperation to help do what you can't because all you see is your world crashing down around you in this. Or you've already been through it. Sometime in the last 3 years, you've already gone through it. You're either divorced from a very long-term marriage. I'm talking 5 to 10 years plus. You were separated from God, but you felt like he called you back. And it's either just before or just after your relationship failed that he called you back. You've been into several things in the past, whether it's the occult, whether it's witchcraft, whether it's questionable relationships. You've been kind of that prodigal in the past. And you've come to recognize that nothing you did is going to save anything that you've got right now. You can't hold up this castle of cards any longer, and you don't want to without God. So if you fall into one of those two, put your hand in the chat. Just raise a hand in the chat, put something in the chat, thumbs up in the chat, for those of you that fall into one of those two categories. Because I know I do. Or, right? We just got all the hands raised. So here's the thing, and we've talked about this in past lives. God is doing something new. God is actually taking, we know that God hates divorce. Malachi tells us God hates divorce. There's actually versions of this that's not exactly what it says. God hates divorce, but more because God hates what divorce does to his children. He hates what that separation does to his children. He does not hate those who are divorced. As a matter of fact, God is causing separations and the breaking of marriages that are not, and relationships that are not of him. If they are not founded in God, they are not a marriage. They are a relationship. They are a worldly relationship, but they are not necessarily of God, which means they are not covenant relationships if it is not with God's blessing. And God is rescuing his children from some very toxic relationships. And yes, they are going through heartbreak. Yes, they are going through a different kind of trauma, but God cares more about your holiness than your happiness. And in doing that, some of us have to become single in order to find the relationship that he has, not because it's for us, but it's for his kingdom. Okay. Both of those two groups, those that are failing in their relationships right now or feeling their relationships failing, and those who are in separation completely or they are in prodigal situations. We are both finding ourselves with a kingdom marriage promise from God, and it's something you're currently waiting on. It might be fixing a broken relationship, as in a restoration. It might be a whole new relationship, whether you know who it is or not. You might know who God has for you. You might not. You might have God telling you that you're going to stand for the relationship you're in, and he might tell you, no, you just need to walk away. And that doesn't mean he's not going to restore that relationship. It just means not now. All right, so you've heard, both groups have heard God calling them back. Both groups have strayed away from God and have felt him grab a hold of them and start drawing them back. And usually you've heard the words healing and you've heard the words restoration. Now, about a year ago, like I said, the Lord had me start praying Psalm 23 over my life, and I did for a while. And then about a month ago, he started showing me Isaiah 43:18. Isaiah 43:18 is, remember not the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The beasts will honor me, the jackals and the ostriches, for I give water in the wilderness, rivers in the desert, to give drink to my chosen people, the people whom I formed for myself, that they might declare my praise. So here's the thing. He's doing something different. And I keep saying, yeah, I know it's almost ready. I know you're preparing a table for me. I know. It's almost here. It's almost ready. Because we keep hearing the thing, soon. My soon is not the same as God's soon. Let's just lay that out there right now. Your soon is probably not the same as God's soon. What you want to happen, when he says soon, we think a week, 2 weeks, a month. That's not what God means. For the past 2 weeks, he keeps telling me, his question to me when I keep saying, yeah, it's almost ready, it's almost here. He keeps saying, who said that? I said, well, you did. You told me last year. And he's like, that was last year. I told you it's almost here. Hey, Mario. It was last year I told you it's coming. Now I'm telling you the table is set. And the funny thing is, you guys, I have seen message after message after message from reliable prophets saying the same thing, just confirming what he's been telling me. So for the past 2 weeks, he keeps talking to me about this table that he has set. I've been too preoccupied by my fears and my doubts and my second guessing to hear my number being called. I've been too busy arguing about why I should be able to put in my own order on this table to notice that God's already made all my favorite things. And I've been too busy telling him that I'm not sure I'm going to like the way that he's prepared the meal, not like I would have, to even try the meal that he's set out for me. So he took me back to Psalm 23. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to break down Psalm 23 verse by verse, because he has something to say about this last year, this period that we've gone through. For some of you, the last 3 years, he has laid out this blueprint for us in Psalm 23. So let's start with, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Now, let me just tell you guys, you're going to know more today about sheep than you probably ever wanted to know. Okay, it's not going to be a ton. I'm not going to take you on this deep dive of sheep, but there is a lot that we're going to learn about sheep and a shepherd. Not all about that though. So don't tune out on the sheep and the shepherd. But in other versions, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Other versions, it more literally means when I allow God to be the one in charge, the shepherd, you lack nothing. It literally says, I shall not lack. Means you want for nothing. But first, you have to let God lead the way. You have to let him be the one in charge. Second, it means you're not the one in control. Hey, Chris. It means you are taking a position, and a submitted position of humility, remembering that God is God and you are not. Or what he told me earlier this week is, let me be God and do what only I can do, because you're not a very good God. And I try to be God and I mess everything up. Think of it this way. The shepherd is in charge of the flock. He is the leader of the flock. He is the provider, the protector, and the lover of the flock. The same way a husband is the leader in a marriage. Okay? So I need you guys to listen, because in learning about sheep, you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You got to be kidding me. Okay, so in learning about sheep, you're going to learn a lot about yourself, your relationship with God, and what he has in store for you coming up. Okay, so I'm kind of going to lay this out in steps for us. And he lays it out in steps based off of these verses. So men, if you aren't letting the Lord lead you first, you can't lead anyone else. Simple as that. If you are not submitted to your shepherd, you can't be a shepherd for your family. People will sit there and say that sheep are dumb. I'm one. I've had sheep. No worries, Jennifer. I've had sheep. I've raised sheep. They're not the smartest of animals, but it's not because they're actually dumb. It's not stupidity. And the more I started thinking about this and reading about sheep again and kind of looking into sheep husbandry, I realized it's not that sheep are dumb. It's that sheep are dependent. And that's what we're supposed to be on God. It would be like calling children stupid. They're not stupid. They're just dependent. And so we need to remember that. That's a key word here. Sheep need a leader. They are dependent on their leader. That can be the most dominant animal in the flock, which usually causes problems, or it can be the shepherd. All right, so left to their own devices, sheep are going to lead the most dominant animal, male or female. So that means if the most dominant in the flock goes the wrong way, the entire flock is going to go awry. The entire flock is going to go the wrong way. If one runs up a hill because it's afraid, they're all running up the hill. If one of the dominants makes a bad decision, like overeating, eating the wrong things, they can eat poisonous plants, they can run into water, they can walk away from where they should be, they can break down a fence, the entire flock follows. So this is such an example that God is giving us over how he's supposed to be in our life, because if we're following a bad shepherd, it can be like following the most dominant animal in the flock. You can be led astray. This is what is happening in a lot of ungodly relationships. And I'm not even going to just say marriages, you guys. This is dating relationships, partnerships. This is all kinds of things. Parenting. If it is not led by God, if your main focus is not to be submitted to your shepherd, and you think you are the shepherd, you're going to go astray. You're going to go the wrong way because you don't know the way. So the shepherd has to be the most dominant for the entire flock. He is supposed to be anywhere the flock turns for guidance, where to go, how to get there. If there's anything to fear when they're there, they look to him to provide shelter, food, and water, protection. They know that he's going to do these things because they've known him from the very beginning. They've known him from the very first day. What they have known from day one is that he will keep them safe. Any new sheep not raised with the shepherd needs to be convinced of the shepherd's goodness, of the shepherd's provision for them, of the shepherd's care over them. It's all about the relationship. Okay? So the shepherd, when a new sheep is introduced, they create a bond through their voice, their touch, and their scent. They call them by name, and they have consistent care, provision, and trust. You can't know a person's scent unless you're close enough to smell it. Men, you might know this too. When a woman walks by and you smell a perfume, women, you know as well as I do, a certain man's cologne, if you recognize that as your man, that cologne makes you feel safe. It makes you think about him, whoever he is. The smell of, my dad was always working with bread racks. And so because he was constantly pushing bread racks, from that metal and the grease on them, his hands were rough and they smelled like grease. So even now, the smell of grease makes me think of my father and hardworking men. Your sensory smell, your sense of smell, that sensory trigger will make you feel and think certain things. So God is reminding us that when we trust him to be our shepherd, our leader, our provider, our protector, and our guidance, we want for nothing. We lack nothing because he is the perfect shepherd. There is nothing that he won't give us. So if you feel like you're in need or in lack or in want, who's in charge? Because if you're trusting in the shepherd, in the good shepherd, in the perfect shepherd, in the shepherd who has the cattle on 1,000 hills, hey, Pat, then you would lack nothing because you would be at peace. Are you demanding answers from God, or are you trusting his way, his time, and his methods? Because if you're lacking answers, there's a lack of trust. If you're lacking the answers as to when and how, you're not trusting him to just provide. The sheep don't ask questions. They don't need to know when. They don't need to know why. They don't need to know how. The sheep don't say this isn't fair. The sheep don't question how much farther before we get there. The sheep just look to the shepherd and trust. That's it. It's actually a fairly simple job. And what God has done is pull you away from those relationships that you were in. He has pulled you into a time of isolation so that you will be forced to get to know him and build that bond with him. A shepherd will take a sheep. If you've ever heard the story of a bummer lamb, go look at it. It's a lamb that's been rejected by its mother. The shepherd takes it into the house. Will you be careful, please? The shepherd takes it into his house and keeps it with him at all times. He takes care of it. He feeds it. He nurtures it. He raises it until it can go back out with the others. And the thing is, that sheep wants to be with the father all the time. It wants to be with the shepherd all the time. It knows him and feels safe with him all the time. It's built that bond with the shepherd. So you guys, okay. So verse 21 of Psalm 23. Let me try that again. Yeah, I said it right. Psalm 23 verse 1 is all about the relationship. Having a relationship with God. Getting into relationship with God. However he needs to do that. Shh. Verse 2. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me by still waters. This is the isolation. This is the pulling away. And this is the part we don't like. This is that control thing that we don't want to deal with. Again, who is in control? He makes me lay down in green pastures. The word literally means lay flat, which is the most submissive posture, the most dangerous posture for any animal to lay in out in the open. A green pasture is a wide open meadow. Any predator can see it. Anything can come into that area easily. And yet, they just lie down completely at ease. This reminds us that rest is provided by the shepherd, and he knows when you need to rest more than you do. This is him drawing you away from all the other things. Exodus 23, 10 through 12. For 6 years you shall sow your land and gather its yield, but the 7th year you shall let it rest and lie fallow, that the poor of you may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field may eat. You shall likewise do this with your vineyard and with your olive orchard. 6 days you shall do your work, but on the 7th day you shall rest, that your ox and your donkey may have rest, and your son of your servant woman and the alien may be refreshed. Exodus 33:14. And he said, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. And he said to him, this is God talking to Moses and Joshua, if your presence will not go with me, do not bring us up from here. In other words, your rest is with God. Your true, complete rest is with God. And then he talks about still waters. You guys, thirsty sheep will run right into water. They know, they see what they need. They're so focused on their thirst, this desire of their body, that they will not pay attention to the danger in front of them. They will literally shove their head into the body of water. And they have all this wool on their head, so it will soak up and drown them. It will literally be so heavy it can pull them into the water, especially the younger ones. You got to think of it this way. All this lamb is thinking is, this is what I need, at least what I think I need. And they do not realize that all of the wool on their neck is going to get waterlogged and drag them down. They don't realize, just like we don't realize, those things that we think we need. We think we need the addictions. We think we need the shopping. We think we need more money. We think we need to go eat those things in the refrigerator because we're emotionally eating. We think we need to go shopping. We think we need that person. We think we need that lust. We think we need that job. It doesn't even have to be a bad thing, you guys. We think we need to work harder in that ministry. We think we need to volunteer. We think we need to be the super mom or super dad for that matter. We think we need those things. And what God is telling us is you do not realize that those things can be a chain around your neck, your waist, and your wrist, and they will drown you if you get too wet. If you start doing too much, those things act like a millstone around your neck. Still waters, though, you can step into. Still waters won't rush over your head. Calm waters bring to mind that tranquility, that peace. And you guys, the funny thing is, literally that's what it means, is a place of tranquility and restfulness inside and out, provided by God. Not provided by you, not provided by your striving, not provided by your smarts, not provided by your hard work, provided by God. He makes you lay down and brings you to still waters. And last night I had a dream. I was telling Manny about it this morning before work. I had this dream that I was out on this lake, and I was swimming out in this lake, and it was completely calm waters. Like it wasn't even moving. And all of a sudden I saw a crocodile coming at me, or an alligator coming at me in the water. And I realized I've got to get away from this. One of the things I realized in talking to him about this was you can see the danger in still waters that you can't see in raging waters. If that had been churning water, I wouldn't have seen the crocodile coming or the alligator coming. But in still waters, you can see it. God knows that you will run yourself ragged. Matthew 11:28, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. His forced rest is to give you peace. That's what it's for. It's for your body to recuperate and to give you peace. Isaiah 26:3, you keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. So here's my question. Are you fighting the green pasture? Are you fighting the peace of God? Do you have too much going on? Are you too busy? Is there too much to do? Because when you start saying, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time, then what is happening is one of two things, but likely you know that God is calling to you. You know God is trying to have a relationship with you. You know God is trying to sit you down. He is trying to make you lay down in green pastures, and you don't want to slow down. You don't want to stop because you're afraid if you do, you will have to admit that you hear exactly what he's trying to tell you, and you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear what he's trying to say because you already know what he's trying to say. You don't want to hear him tell you that relationship, it's not what I have for you. Remember I said you're one of two groups right now. You're in one of two groups. Either you're coming out of a relationship that was not God's will for you, or you're in a relationship right now that you know either God is going to have to fix it and there's going to be a separation and you don't want it. You guys, I had a whole period where I knew God was calling to me. I knew he was. I kept saying, let's go back to church. Let's go back to church. And he didn't want any part of that. Nothing to do with that. And I kept saying, no, I need God. We need God in this relationship. We need to focus on God more. We need him to fix what's wrong with us. And he didn't want to hear it. I knew it. But I was so busy doing 100 different things, striving at 100 different things, that I did not want to listen to God because I knew what was going to happen if I did. I knew what he was going to do in me until he finally gave me no choice. So what are you thinking about? Romans 8:5 says, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on things of the flesh, and those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on things of the Spirit. For to set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the Spirit is life and peace. For the mind that is set on the flesh is hostile to God, for it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God. As long as you are fighting the green pastures, as long as you are fighting what God is trying to do to bring you peace, yes, sometimes it's going to hurt. Sometimes it's going to mean a separation. But you guys, 3 years later, I can promise you, I have had more healing from doing it his way than I ever had in the 10 years of trying to fix it on my own. Psalm 26:1. Vindicate me, O Lord, for I have walked in my integrity and I have trusted in the Lord without wavering. Prove me, O Lord, and try me. Test my heart and my mind. He wants to control your thoughts because your thoughts control your actions. Your actions produce your character. Your character is from who people see. That is what people see of you. And you are supposed to be a walking testimony for him. So you are either walking for him or you're not. That's the difference. You can be a good person and not walk for God. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think of these things. So why does God want to gain control of your mind? 2 Corinthians 10:4. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. What are the strongholds? We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God and take every thought captive to obey Christ, being ready to punish every disobedience when your obedience is complete. You're punishing the disobedience of your own mind. This is not talking about punishing everybody else. This is talking about the thoughts, the opinions, the truth that is your truth. We hear it all the time. It's my truth. It's my truth. It's my truth. No, it's your opinion. If it's not God's truth, it's not truth. You guys, I can give you my version of what happened in my marriage and before. My ex-husband can give you his version of what happened in our marriage and before. And guess what? Those are our opinions. Those are what we believe. That's what we believe in faith, but that does not make it truth. That makes it what we believe, our truth. That's not the truth. My truth is from my skewed perspective. His truth is from his skewed perspective. Only God's truth is 100% accurate. Okay, why? Why? So God's taken us He's taken us to come into relationship with him. He's put us in isolation by still waters, in peace and quiet, even though we may not want it, even though we fight it. He makes you lay down. He makes you lay down. You guys, I have had moments where I have had to force my dog to lay down so that I can check and see what's wrong with his foot. Even though he doesn't want to lay down, he wants to fight me on it. Until I've had to do it to clip his nails. You guys try wrestling a 130-pound dog to the ground to wrestle his nails, to clip his nails alone. Is it bad? Yes, it's a hassle. Yes, he could get hurt while I'm doing it, but at the same time, I'm doing it to help him. His nails are growing back into his foot. I have to get those trimmed. So I'm doing it for his good, but he doesn't realize that. Just like you may not realize why God is pulling you into isolation. You don't like it. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. Most of us don't know how to be alone. Let me say that again. Most of us have no idea how to be alone because we've never been alone. And we've never been alone completely focused on God. I have had 3 years alone focused on God. No dating, no spouse, no children, just me and my animals and God. You guys want to know why my relationship with God is like this? That's exactly why. Because I have not dated in 3 years. I have not thought about a man as far as getting into a relationship with a man. I've thought about it, but I haven't done it. And I haven't been in relationship with anyone else like that. I have friends. I talk to people. It's not like I'm completely isolated in a way, though that has happened in the past 3 years at times. But it's been such a deep dive relationship with God that he has me so focused with blinders on him. Now, does he want me to stay that way? No. He has me standing as a wife for a husband who's not here. Because I have to be so focused and submitted to him that he has taken me through this whole gamut of learning my relationship with him, my reliance on him, that my provision, my protection, my guidance, all of those things come from my shepherd first. And I have to learn how to do those things with him in a new way so that I can do that for my spouse when the time comes. So then Psalm 23:3, he restores my soul. This is why he's taking you into isolation, to restore your soul back to what it's supposed to be. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. You guys, the word restore means to refresh or repair. Literally, it's the word shub in Hebrew, okay? And it means to bring something back to its original state, back to new, to repair it, renew it, or receive more than was lost. This can apply to physical, spiritual, or relational well-being, such as restoring health, rebuilding cities, bringing back a person to a right relationship with God. God's restoration often goes beyond mere recovery, resulting in an improved or greater final condition than the original state. That means God's going to do abundantly more than what you know to even expect. Have you ever seen like a house that's hundreds of years old when it's restored to its original condition? It looks nice. It looks nice, but it's still kind of plain compared to what we expect now. But I've seen them restored to pristine condition and improved upon. In which case, think of it this way. Think of a house that's 200 years old with power, with electricity, with running water, with all of the things that we have in our lives today, all of the general conveniences that we have today, like plumbing, that they wouldn't have had 200 years ago. That's above and beyond. We have a God that goes above and beyond. So you can't get to restoration, though, if you don't lay down in green pastures. You can't get to restoration if you haven't laid down by the still waters and let him restore your soul. Unless you allow God to bring you to a place of physical, emotional, and spiritual rest, calmness, and peace because of your trust and your bond with him, you cannot be restored, rebuilt, or renewed. That's the next step. That's will you stop? That is why you are going to the still waters, so that he can do those things for you. This isn't for you to be happy. This isn't a byproduct of living. This is a byproduct of living righteously. When you live God's way, which is what righteous means, you live right with God. When you live that way, you are going to be happy. You are going to have a restored soul. Your life is going to get better. You are going to have blessings because of who he is, so that your life can bring a testimony to him, bring glory to him. Okay, so Psalm 23:4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Literally means a depression in the landscape. It's often layered with a setting that has a spiritual meaning like conflict, refuge, judgment, or hope. It's flexible enough to describe narrow gorges, wide basins, dramatic chasms, like the Mount of Olives. But most of the time, it's talking about the deepest darkness known to human experience. This is darkness so dense that it's identified with death itself. Scripture implies this literally and in places where light is absent. And then metaphorically, like places where hope, order, and life are eclipsed. Like Psalm 55:4, my heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen upon me. Fear and trembling come upon me, and horror overwhelms me. And I say, oh, that I may have wings like a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. Yes, I would wander far away. I would lodge in the wilderness, Selah. I would hurry to find shelter from the raging wind and tempest. For it is not an enemy who taunts me, that I could bear it. It is not an adversary who dealt insolently with me. Then I could hide from him. But it is you, a man, my equal, my companion, my familiar friend. We used to take sweet counsel together. Within God's house, we walked in the throng. My companion stretched out his hand against his friends. He violated his covenant. His speech was smooth as butter, yet war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn with swords. Any of you who are in those two groups, this is how you feel. right here. What David is saying in this, that hurt, that betrayal, that abandonment, and that rejection. That is what you feel by. You cannot be betrayed by someone you don't care about because you know not to trust them. But betrayal comes from those people who you love and trust, who you have a companionship with. This is exactly what you're afraid of. This is exactly what you're afraid of. If the Lord is your shepherd, I shall not want. If you let him lay you down in green pastures, you're afraid this is exactly what's going to happen, that you are going to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And guess what? You are. You are. You're afraid of this storm, this attack, this thing, this darkness you feel, that it's going to be the end of your hope, the end of your order, and the end of life as you know it. And unfortunately, it probably will be. I would love to sugarcoat this for you and say it won't. And for some of you, there is a restoration. It is going to be a return of that relationship. But that relationship has to be broken down. It has to be taken down to the studs first before it can be restored. In order to get to the promises of God, to step into that new place and these new promises that he has for you, because he does promise better. He really does, you guys, whether it's a new relationship or whether it's fixing what you have now. He does promise it will be for your good. It will be for their good. It will be for the good and the glory of God. But first, you cannot stay the same. Something has to die. Old habits, beliefs, sometimes relationships, friendships, marriages. Sometimes there's things that need to be cut away, even things that look productive. Have you ever grown a fruit tree? I've got 2 fruit trees outside, 3 now. And fruit tree pruning is done for several reasons, but it's to control the tree size, to increase the fruit quality and yield, and maintain tree health by removing dead, diseased, or crossing branches, often in the dormant winter season. Okay, so what are the goals of pruning? The goals include to promote good airflow and light penetration, to develop strong open branches, and encourage new fruiting wood by strategically removing branches. So for size control, pruning limits the tree's size, making harvesting and maintenance easier. Or, oh no, Manny, I told you I got all the things tonight. So think of it this way. Pruning limits the tree's size. What happens if things happen too fast? If you grow bigger than what your trunk can withstand, you're going to break. It's going to break you. We've talked about this before, that you have to build the muscle before you can carry the load. That's why it's gradual. God is not going to elevate you from... He took time with David. Think about it this way. He took David, from being a shepherd in the wilderness to then he was playing in the palace. Then he fought battles. Then he went back out into the palace, and then he ran, and then he came back. It took years before David became king. He didn't do it overnight. God's not going to do it overnight. Nobody is going to see all of the little disciplines to use. Who was it that said it earlier? It was Lone Wolf said it. The word discipline is so important, you guys. God, it's one of the fruits of the Spirit is self-discipline. God is going to take you in that lying down by the still waters and the green pastures. He's going to take you through a season of learning discipline. Whatever that means to you. For me, it started with my fitness, even before I came back to God. The birds are fine. Dude, the birds are fine. And so I had to go through this whole period of learning discipline. And it started with my fitness. Then it went to my eating. Then it went to reading the Bible. Then it went to praying. Then it went to journaling. And now it's in every part of my life. Sully, stop. The birds are fine. I know they're making noises. Not as much as you are. So he has to limit your size until you are ready for it. It's also for fruit production. It encourages larger fruit, higher yields by directing energy to the fruit-producing branches. I'm letting him out, you guys, because I don't want to deal with this. Come on, you're going to stay out. Gosh. Go. No, you're going to stay here. Okay, let's try this again. Maybe now it will be quiet because he's being annoying. All right, so fruit production. So it creates a larger fruit. It creates a larger yield. We think if we cut off certain things that it's going to be less fruit, except for, we didn't talk about this, Manny, except for to have a larger fruit, better fruit, the nutrients have to be concentrated to certain areas. God is the same way with us. If he wants to yield fruit in our lives, he wants us to focus in certain areas. He wants us to concentrate into certain areas. It's for your health. Removing dead, diseased, crossing branches improves air circulation and light penetration, which helps prevent disease. When God can let his Holy Spirit flow through you, when God can let his light into your life more and let it shine through your branches, okay, it's going to create a more healthy you. I don't know how many of you guys have been walking with God for any significant period of time, really focused on him, sitting in the green pastures with him, by the still waters with him, getting that bond with him, but you have found how much healing, inner healing that he has done on you. I was a codependent, angry, anxious person who screamed and yelled at everybody for my entire life. And now I'm much calmer. I don't get angry over things that normally would have just been like a flip switch. Now, okay. I literally, you guys, went from a fear of heights to standing on a cliff edge, to climbing one of the highest peaks in Yosemite. And the thing is, I couldn't have done that without the light and the airflow, healing inside, removing the dead things in me, the anger, the bitterness, the frustrations, the unforgiveness. That was a big one. So it also creates a structural strength. Oh, it's already time to validate, you guys. Okay. Structural strength. Pruning creates a sturdy, well-balanced branch system capable of supporting heavy fruit loads. He makes you stronger. He makes you more able to endure, which is choosing to bear the load that he puts on you. And you're able and capable of doing it without breaking. You're able to do it and maintain that righteous walk with him and not fall. Because here's the thing, as we walk farther with God, as he elevates us to different positions, as we become closer to the promise that he has for us, there's going to be more responsibility. And when there's more responsibility, the enemy's going to come at you harder. He's not going to be sending his foot soldiers after you anymore. He's going to be sending bigger soldiers, generals, and, like heavy duty warfare your way. And what you think is big warfare when you first start, just wait. And I don't say that to scare anybody, because the thing is, now you know how to fight it. Now you know how to battle. Now you have better armor. Now you're more skilled at fighting back. Ryan and I were talking about this, that a lot of the attacks that we get now, they're heavier, harder attacks, but they don't phase us nearly as much because we're like, yeah. And we're going to talk about how to fight the enemy in just a second. But sometimes pruning feels a lot like death. Sometimes pruning hurts really bad. So let me ask you this. What part of your life is God pruning right now? And it feels painful. You wonder, why does this particular branch have to be cut away? Why now? Why now? I was married for we were about to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. We had planned a trip to Ireland to get remarried and have our vows renewed on a castle. That was the plan. Why before that? Why after we moved into our dream house? Why when my kids were grown and gone and I was all alone? Why did it happen then? Was it COVID? Was it this? Was it that? Maybe. Hey, Clara, I don't know why now, but I thought God was cutting the wrong branches. I thought God was cutting too much of the branches in all the wrong places, but he knew what was going to bear fruit later. Like I said, he has healed me more. I have had more healing in 3 years. I have had more impact for the kingdom of God in 3 years. Hey, Kevin, than I had in my entire 50 years before? How do you have more impact, more healing, more beneficial things, more, I have done more in my life, become more of who I always wanted to be in 2 years by myself with God than I ever did in the 50 before that. He knows what's going to bear fruit later. He knows how to shape you. He can see the shape from the outside. You're looking from within. He sees it from the outside, the overhead. He sees the entire picture of what you are supposed to look like as a tree. He knows how to shape you and what to remove to shape you so that the Holy Spirit can flow through your life to let the most amount of light shine through, to keep you the healthiest. He is intentional. He knows exactly when and which branches to prune. Here you go, Manny. And again, you have to trust his foreknowledge because he sees the beginning from the end, and he knows the plans that he has for you. You don't know the plans he has for you. You think you're an apple tree. He knows that you're a lemon tree. So he knows what is better for you as a lemon tree. He knows what fertilizer to put you through. You guys know where that was going, right? I just can't say it on here. All right. And through it all, he's protecting you through it. A shepherd's rod is a short, sturdy club, sometimes with a knob or a heavy end, and it's used to defend the flock from wild animals and threats and to strike off and ward predators. It's a symbol of the authority and power of the shepherd. Okay? And then on top of that, the shepherd's staff is a long, slender stick. You've all seen it. It's the shepherd's crook. It's typically 5 to 6 feet long. It's what they would use to lean on when they were out in there, but it would provide guidance and rescue to the sheep. And yeah, I know. That's why I said just wait, because I had already had all this done today. I mean, this was all done way before today. So it provided guidance and rescue, and the hooked end could catch and pull a lamb if it was about to step into a precarious place, like if it was going to go off the side of a cliff. Again, sheep aren't always the smartest. They do some dumb things because they don't know better. And so if they would go off into a thicket, or they would get stuck in a brush, or he would just walk by and pull them with the crook. He could hook it right underneath their belly and pull them backwards. He could lift them up off the ground if he had to. If one of them was hurt, he could guide them back to the flock. If it was starting to go the wrong way, he could nudge them with it. Every step of the way, he is striking and warding off attack on you, even while you're sleeping and don't see it. So Psalm 121:3 and 3 and 4 and then 7 says, he will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. He is protecting you. You don't see it. He is putting angels to guard you. Psalm 55, 17 through 19 and 20 through 23. Evening and morning and at noon I utter my complaint and moan, and he hears my voice. He redeems my soul in safety from the battle that I wage, for many have arrayed against me. This is the same psalm that he was talking about when he was saying that it was a friend that did this. God will give ear and humble them, he who is enthroned from old, Selah, because they do not change and they do not fear God. Cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. But you, O God, will cast them down into the pit of destruction. Men of blood and treachery shall not live out half their days, but I will trust you. So here's the thing. Again, it goes back to your trust in him. Again, it goes back to knowing that you have that bond with the shepherd, that you can trust him. So why? Because it's the shepherd's job. It's the shepherd's job to protect you. He can protect you far better than another lamb can. So those of us who are women, and, I said that the men have to be submitted to the shepherd because, that's that they have to be submitted to him because they can't lead anybody else. Here's the order, the pecking order, basically, in our flock. It's supposed to be God as the shepherd, the husband as the dominant sheep, and I don't mean dominant as in domineering. I mean dominant as in next in charge. And then the rest, the wife, would fall underneath that. But it is not that other sheep's job to protect you. Yes, they're going to. Yes, because they are following the shepherd, you're going to follow them. But if that sheep decides to take off away from the shepherd, you stick with your shepherd. That's when you keep following your shepherd ultimately. You have two eyes, one to follow your shepherd and the other to keep an eye on that dominant sheep to make sure he follows the shepherd, because if he goes astray, you stay with your shepherd. Once one runs, they all panic. They have this mob mentality, this flock mentality. And that's the problem with sheep, is they have a flock mentality. How often do we see it happen? All the time. Okay, so here's where we get into this. It's going to be a long night tonight, you guys. Okay, Psalm 23:5. We're only 5 verses in. All right, Psalm 23:5. You prepare a table before me. This is what he's been telling me. In the presence of my enemies, you anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. A lot of us are right here. I thought this was for me, and he's like, no, this is for a lot of your group right now. A lot of you guys are right in this place right now. He is about to sit you down at this table. You know when you go out to a restaurant and they have those little buzzers? It's buzzing. He's telling you, come on, let's go sit down. It's time for the meal. But here's the thing. What David is suggesting here is a table that's bounty. And that it's prepared means that there was foresight and care put into it. And that it's before you suggests that personal connection and that bond from God to you. So the use of this particular word means it's a private table. And that's the part we forget. As in, it's your honor, and this is a party in your honor, and your enemies are going to watch, but they're not invited to join. And we forget that. We think, oh, you're setting a table in front of my enemies that all of them are going to come sit at it too. And you guys, I'm about to go to a wedding where I am the mother of the groom. And it's going to be an awkward situation. I am literally going to be seated at a table amidst people who see themselves as my enemies. I don't see them that way, although I don't see them as friends. I am literally about to walk into the very thing God is talking about here. And he's done this with me before, where he's placed me at a table to watch my enemies fall because I trusted him in it. I let him move in it. I let him be God in it. And because of that, he rewarded that for me. And now he's taking me to another situation that's even more personal, even more private, and going to be a situation where a lot of people are going to see who acts in certain ways. It's going to be very public. But the use of this particular word is a private table. Think of it as a date with you and God. So stop trying to invite people to the table that God did not invite. It's really hard when you don't want to walk away from a relationship. It's really hard when you don't want the separation. It's really hard when you don't understand why this particular branch is being pruned off of you right now. It might be so that something else can be grafted on. It's for restoration later, whatever that means, whether it's new or fixed. But stop trying to drag people to the table that God is not inviting. You are not in charge of the guest list. God is. Stop trying to take people that God has cut out of your life. Stop trying to drag baggage of your past to this table. There's no room there. Somebody's going to trip over it there. Stop trying to force your way to someone else's table. If these people are not invited to the table, there is no room there for them and the people that God has removed. It's a private feast. Let those who refuse the invitation watch from the sidelines. Your blessings are about to be poured over you. God is about to anoint your head with oil. That's always associated with blessings and elevation in the Bible. Now, with the shepherd, it's relief. With sheep, because they are such lazy, kind of dumb animals, gnats will lay their eggs up their nose. Flies will buzz all over their head. They will get in their eyes. They will get in their wool. They will just burrow into it, and they get bugs and vermin, and they can get sick and die. But the oil poured over them. You guys, I know for a fact that flies do not like anything oily. Hey, hon. So they don't like anything oily. I have horses. One of the ways my mare gets what's called sweet itch, and it's bug bites, and she gets hives from it. She's extremely allergic to bug bites. And so she will just swell up. Well, one of the ways that I keep her from getting bug bites is by putting petroleum jelly on her. Just straight petroleum jelly, nothing major. It keeps the skin soft and it keeps the bugs away. It's an oil. It's a fat. And this oil was made a lot of times from olive oil or from the fat, the lard. And so what they would do is pour this on the sheep's head, on all over its face, and it would be dripping all over it. But that would keep the bugs off. It would smell and it would keep all of those bugs off of the sheep, keep them healthy, and they could have relief. Again, still waters, green pastures, relief from the pests, from the enemies, those things that are tempting them, because sheep are so dumb. They will bang their heads trying to get the flies off their face. They will bang their heads on a rock, on the ground, whatever it is, until they kill themselves, until they die. Isn't that an appropriate picture of what we do with the enemy? Isn't that an appropriate picture of what the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and thinking you're going to get a different result? We are banging our heads trying to understand why what we're doing isn't working. And we just keep trying to do the same thing. We just keep trying to force our way harder, drag them more. We are trying to change other people, beg them to love us more, change for them to love us more. Trying to get them to see, to talk to them over and over, to get them to see what we're trying to say, to explain. Don't you understand? This is all I need. And they don't care. And they're not listening because they're focused on their needs and their wants and for you to change to suit them. The problem is we're all so self-absorbed that we're just banging our head against a rock. And so God says, come sit at the table with me. Now that we've had this time, now that you have this bond with me, now that you've sat beside the green pastures and let me give you some restoration to your soul, now we can sit at the table and we can talk. Now we can be elevated and I can pour out the blessings on you because you're ready. You've been pruned. You can handle it now. You're going to still have the humility at this point. So here's the thing. Don't relish it or lord it over anyone. 1 Samuel 16, then Samuel said to Jesse, are all your sons here? And he said, there remains yet the youngest, but behold, he is keeping the sheep. And Samuel said to Jesse, send and get him, for we will not sit down until he comes here. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and had beautiful eyes and was handsome. And the Lord said, arise and anoint him, for this is he. This is David. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David from that day forward, and Samuel rose and went up to Ramah. David was anointed in the presence of his enemies. Now, yes, these are his brothers, but how do we know they're his enemies? God let his brothers watch from the sidelines, right? We know that they're his enemies because of Samuel 17, 1 Samuel 17. Now, Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when David spoke to the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why have you come down, and with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your presumption and the evil of your heart, for you have come down to see the battle. And David said, what have I done now? Was it not but a word? In other words, I asked a question. Calm down, bro. So his brothers acted as his enemies in a lot of situations. And some of it was jealousy. And some of it was bitterness. And some of it was who knows what. Regardless, God anointed David king in the midst of his enemies. And God is about to bless a lot of you with exactly what he has promised because you are ready to sit down at the table. This idea pictures the Lord as the host and shepherd who lavishes abundance on his guests. A spread table, a perfumed head, the brimming cup jointly declare that communion with God is more than survival. It's superabundance that overflows to others. Psalm 84:11, for the Lord God is a sun and shield. The Lord bestows favor and honor. No good thing will he withhold from those who walk uprightly or righteously. O Lord of hosts, blessed is the one who trusts in you. Again, trust in the Lord. More than anyone else, Stop allowing the enemy to sit at your table. And this is key, you guys. One of the things, he is an unwelcome third wheel. He was not invited. And here's the thing. What I've been saying all week, this is what I keep getting reminded, because the more I am walking to the table to join the Lord, the more the enemy keeps trying to pull up a seat. And I keep having to remind him that this is a 3-person table and my third party is still on their way. So you were not invited. Step out. You have to leave. I didn't ask you here. I'm not inviting you to be here. You have to leave. Get to stepping. So stop allowing him to take the place of things and people that God has for you. God has set, God has set this place for you. The enemy was not invited. Stop letting him sit there. It means that he's either squatting or you're allowing him to stay. No matter what, God is leaving it up to you. This is your choice who is sitting in that third seat. You know, he talks about a 3-strand cord, and if he has got a marriage promise for you, if you're one of those 2 groups of people and he has a marriage promise for you, why are you letting the enemy sit in the seat of your spouse? Why are you letting the enemy scoot your spouse out of the way so that he can sit there? Because that's what's happening, is you're allowing the enemy to tell you, I don't know why you put up with them. You do realize that someone else would be better, right? Those are the words of the enemy. God didn't tell you that. If you're in a covenant relationship, God is telling you forgive them, love them unconditionally, sacrifice. He is telling you how to live by the fruits of the Spirit. The enemy is going to tell you to be selfish. The enemy is going to tell you to get your needs, your wants, your way. The enemy was not invited by God to sit at the table. You have to allow him to sit there, or you have to tell him to get up and leave. Nobody else is going to do it. That is the test when you have a table prepared in front of your enemies. God is willing to pour your blessings out on you. You are allowing the enemy to eat the blessings that God is giving you. You're allowing him to take them. Don't allow him to take them. Psalm 23:6, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house forever. I'm going to give you guys some definitions, okay? Goodness, this word literally means good, obviously, but it means pleasant, agreeable, beneficial, beautiful, best, better, bountiful, cheerful, fair, favor, fine, glad, goodly, graciously, joyful, kind, pleasant, precious, prosperity, sweetness, wealth, welfare, and well-favored. Okay? Mercy literally means the favor of God. Good deeds, loving kindness, merciful kindness, pity, and then to follow means to chase, pursue, and hunt down. So really what this is saying is the good of God, the goodness, the greatness, the best that God has to offer you, and the favor of God are literally going to chase you down. He is going to hunt you down with his favor. You cannot outrun the favor of God. James 1:17 says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, and with whom there is no variation, no shadow due to change. Remember, we talked about the valley of the shadow of death, that darkness. There is none of that in God. Of his own, he has brought forth by the word of truth that we shall be a kind of first fruits in his creatures. Remember, first fruits is always his best and the choice sacrifice. Proverbs 3:9 says, honor the Lord with your wealth and the first fruits of all your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will be bursting with wine. If you are a kind of first fruits to God, what does that mean about you? He sees you as his best. To dwell. Here you go, Manny. You didn't know about this either. To dwell means to abide, marry, tarry, dwell, sit, stay. And a house also means a court and a palace. So let me rephrase this for you. Surely the amazing goodness of God, all of his best things, the mercy, the kindness and the favor of God are going to chase you down every single day of your life. And you will stay at his feet in the court and the palace of the God of the universe forever. Luke 10:38 says, now as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and the woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving. And she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her to help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled by many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. Abiding, being still at the Lord's feet. This is dwelling in the house of the Lord forever. She is dwelling in the house of the Lord. Dwelling in the house of the Lord is not going to church. That's great. Be with other believers. Do those things. But that's not dwelling in the house of the Lord. It's not even being with fellow believers and followers of God. Those are great things. But this, being at the feet of Jesus, being in the house of the Lord, dwelling, abiding, being still at the green pastures and the still waters with the Lord, getting to know him, having that bond with him, that is necessary. Jesus says one thing is necessary. The other things are great. They are complementary things. This thing is necessary. This is why your quiet time, your prayer closet, whatever you want to call it, you being in the Word, soaking up prayer time with God, praising him, being near him is necessary for your healing and the restoration of your soul, for the promises that he has to come. He cannot build you up to uphold those promises that he wants to give you if you are not doing the necessary thing. So where are you dwelling? Because here's the thing, dwelling comes after the feast. The feast comes, the blessings can come, and then the dwelling comes. And here's the thing, dwelling is staying with him after the blessing. And make no mistake, it's coming. The blessing is coming. But dwelling is seeking him first. Like it talks about in Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom of God and all these things will be given to you. It's staying focused on him most. That's John 15. That's abide in me and I will be with you. This is that whole thing that Manny was just talking about, the abiding, the branches being disconnected. You can't be disconnected from the vine. I am the vine, you are the branches. Yeah, that's what staying focused on him is. That's abiding, still waiting with him. Acknowledging him in all your ways, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Are you doing those things? You guys, all of this is the path. This is the steps. This is how he wants to get you through the blessings, through the promises, from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And then you start over again. You cannot get to the table if you haven't let the dead things stay in the valley of the shadow of death. If you are still dragging those things to the table, there's no room. He's telling you, leave them in the valley. Let them go. Let them die. This morning, he took me in my reading to the valley of dry bones. Again. Prophesy to these things. Prophesy. Bones, get up and live. Leave the baggage where it belongs. Leave the dead things where they belong. And then prophesy, I will sit at the table with God. I will have the promises he has for me. And the enemy will not eat my feast any longer. Because here's the thing. There's been a lot of times when I allow the enemy to take things from me. I go into contract with the enemy, not even realizing I'm doing it. I am literally shackling myself with handcuffs that aren't attached to anything. I just think they're handcuffs. I think they're holding me. Or I just take my blessings and be like, here, you want the chocolate cake God has for me? You want the pizza God has for me? He made this amazing brick oven pizza for me. Would you like some? And I'm handing my promises over to him. I'm handing my feast to the enemy because I don't realize that I get to tell him to leave. I don't acknowledge that this is and you guys, he's not going to come in attacking you the way we understand attacking. He's going to attack you. But we don't understand the actual ways that the enemy attacks a lot of times. The enemy is not going to come in, well, I mean, he will come in loud. Demons will come in loud. And make no mistake, demons will come into a church really loud. But he will also come in very quiet, very subtle. Because the enemy's been watching you for a long time. He knows what works. And don't think Lou Giglio, I think that's how you say his last name, has a whole sermon on this, and I love his rendition of it, of the enemy came to the table with Eve in the wilderness in Eden, and it worked. He literally came down in Eden, sat at the table with God's first creation, tricked her, and it worked, and so now he knows how to do it with everybody. He comes in sly. He doesn't have to come in loud. He comes in like a friend. He comes in agreeing with your flesh, reminding you of your flesh. He comes in, he came up to the table of the Son of God in the wilderness and stepped up and asked him the same. He did the same thing he did to Eve. It worked with Eve. He thought he'd try it with Jesus. Did God really say that you're his son? I mean, really? You sure you heard that right? How many times have you questioned yourself? Are you sure you heard God promise you that? Literally, he's barking at the door to come in now because I left him out. So you guys, I want to pray for you. And I know we kind of went a little long, but I want to pray for you guys because really there's a lot of us coming to the table right now. There's a lot of us coming to the feast right now. And a lot of us are preparing to put a plate right in front of the enemy. Or we're holding ourselves back from the feast because we're waiting for other people to get there and they're just not coming. I don't know why I haven't changed anything. And they're just not coming. So let me pray for you guys. And then you guys, we can talk for a little bit afterwards. Heavenly Father, I just thank you, Lord. I thank you for this word. I thank you for the revelation in it. I thank you for showing us the importance of the bond with you, showing us the importance of the rest that you give us, showing us how you prune us and the feast that you're setting for us. And Father, I just pray that we will stop fighting you, stop wrestling with you, and let you lead and guide us like the shepherd that you are, the good shepherd that you are, because all of this is for our provision, all of this is for our protection, but ultimately this is for your glory. And so, Father, we just want to glorify you. We want to let your airflow and your light shine through us. We want to glorify you and your Son. And so I pray that each one of us will step into our blessings, into our promises, into the provision that you have for us, those kingdom spouses and relationships that you have for us. And Lord, that we are able to use those to glorify you ultimately and over everything else. And I pray these things in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. All right, I'm going to let the dog in, you guys, because you'll play for me at my son's wedding. Well, it's not me organizing that, so thank you, but you'd have to get in touch with my son. He's not on TikTok, so. Hi. Are we done throwing a hissy? Cooper, get in here. Are we done throwing a hissy fit? Come on. In the house. Let's go. Hi, Susan. I haven't seen you in a while. Come on. Cooper, house. Now, please. Thank you. Oh, pray. That's even better. That's even better than playing. Alexa, turn on the table. Yeah, praying's even better than playing. Gotta love those typos, huh? Thanks, Bam Bam. Yeah. Get some sleep. Get good sleep. Good night, Manny. You crack me up, Manny. You come on here, you say all the things in the chat, and then you bolt. I'm out. You never stay for any chit chat. It's only 7:40 for me. I'm on the West Coast. But I only stay until 8, so. Or thereabout. Good, I'm glad it wasn't me. He threw this one at me this week, and I was like, didn't plan a message, but okay, Lord, whatever we're doing. Like all the notes tonight. Yeah. Psalm 91 is a good one for protection. You're so funny. Lots of notes. I mean, I got lots of notes too, like 11 pages. So. I take lots of notes when he starts talking, so. Now Sully's eating. It's so loud over there. You knocked down my notebooks, Cooper. Hey, Joan. It's a lot. That's why I was like, there's so much in those 6 verses. Yeah, I couldn't believe how many verses he kept jumping me around to in this too. I was like, okay. Hey, Jason. Welcome back. But I have all the scriptures written out too. Night, Jenny. I got chapped lips. Good night, Kathy. Yeah, I think when we're done, I might go sit out and listen to the crickets for a while. That's what I did with him the other night, was sit out and listen to the crickets. And Kathy, keep me posted about Cheryl. You guys keep Cheryl, if you know her, she would be Lin Lin on TikTok. Keep her in your prayers. She's in the hospital with a very, very bad infection. It's basically a systemic infection, right? Night, Jennifer. I saw Tim was on here too. Tell him I said hi. Dr. Cheryl. Yeah, she's a sweet lady. So we are definitely praying for her. I guess she's a little bit better today than what she was. But she definitely needs our prayers. Be praying for Ron too, you guys. Hi, Edwin. Shelly's gonna sit there and eat that whole bowl of food. Just since he came in. He does that all the time. He waits until right before bed. All right, guys, you guys are super quiet. Right? That's why I'm like, you guys are super quiet tonight. Nobody's saying anything. That's okay. I threw a lot at you guys. Trust me, I'm tired. How are you doing, Mark? I was thinking about this weekend that I need to give you a call. I just haven't had time. It's been crazy between all the wedding planning and running around and then the horses on top of that. This week is insane. I already have appointments. Yeah. Well, I know about your friend's business. Is it on you personally? Okay. Well, text me and let me know what I need to pray for you for. Because you've been on my mind a lot that I need to call you and reach out. But usually you know that means something's coming. In a good way. You ate that whole bowl? Seriously? What a pig. That was a lot of dog food, kiddo. Okay, just message me. Sully. You didn't bark the whole time you were eating. You guys, this goes on all night long. Actually, it doesn't. He's pretty quiet most of the night. All right, well, unless you guys have anything else, I'm going to let you go then, since nobody wants to talk. We'll do it about 10 minutes early tonight. We'll bounce. Because then I can go to bed. Actually, I'll go sit outside for like 10 minutes. All right. Well, Thursday night, guys, we're going to be talking about Jesus calling people out again. Good night, Mark. We're going to talk about Jesus calling people out again, but this time he's going to be calling out people he loves, not just the people who are leading other people astray. So we're going to be talking about him calling out the disciples on Thursday. And then next Thursday, we'll be talking about the last of it. The finality of Jesus, especially Peter. Peter got called out a lot. Unfortunately, Peter really did get called out a lot. But I empathize with Peter. I really, really do. I've never felt more like Peter than I do now. So, you know, it's that 2 steps forward, 1 step back, always with Peter. But he's still going forward, so. Yeah. I can't wait to meet Peter in heaven. Like, he's the one I want to get the autograph from. Paul, not so much. I know he's great. He's fantastic. He's a great author. He wrote most of the Bible. He has great things to say. I think he's cool and all that, but he kind of seems a bit like he's a little rough around the edges. Peter, I can relate to, as in, I am a screw up. I am emotional. I am a drama queen. I am back and forth all the time. I am double-minded. Like, I can relate to Peter. I relate less to Paul. Paul's definitely a perfectionist and expects everybody around him to get it right. And I just don't get it right. At least I feel like I don't get it right. I'd like to be a Paul. Unfortunately, I think I'm a Peter. You know what I mean? All right, guys. I will let you go. We will be on next Thursday. Well, not next Thursday. This coming Thursday. We'll be on again a little after 6. Before 6:30. We'll get started at 6:30. And we will chat then about Jesus and Peter. And then the other disciples too. Mostly Peter. But the other disciples too. All right. You guys have a good night. Have a good week. I love you. And we will talk to you all soon. All right. Have a good one.